Like we're going to have pullbacks after pullbacks after. It's just going to be very choppy. Okay, so I wouldn't even be looking to take this trade yet because we're dealing with too many gaps on the downside. Now, this somehow ends up working. You could have taken a short right here on the inversion retest. Okay, because now you have double inversion. Now, I don't really like this trade. I'm just going to give you an example. I wouldn't be taking this yet. Let's hop on the 15. Here's another thing. Here's another reason why I'm not taking that trade just yet. Look at how much I got to deal with here. This is why high resistance liquidity looks like a 15-minute gap here now, coinciding with a 5-minute gap. Okay. 15-minute gap up here got flipped. Now, the best, I think, setup here would have been taking and waiting for all these gaps to get pierced to the downside. But at that point, let me blow your minds. At that point, we're in such a discount. I really don't want to be involved in this trade anymore. Do you see how much goes into this? It's not just we need a liquidity sweep, V-shaped recovery and all stuff. Other things have to be aligned as well. I don't like this trade idea because of the gap sitting below the short. Right? You have to understand where you are in these trades. Let's say, for example, you shorted the 15-minute gap here, which would have made sense, right? Here's a 15-minute FEG that now got flipped into an inversion. You're taking an entry right here. Stops are above that. And TP is going to be down here. This trade would have worked, but it would have been high resistance and it would have been lower probability than a trade where you're not sitting with gaps below it. I hope that makes sense to you guys. And you got to be able to identify that in real time. Now, that trade worked and it absolutely melted. Okay. But it would have been pretty hectic if you look on the 1 minute what you would have dealt with. You see that? You see what that looks like? That is high resistance liquidity and chop. You probably would have been stopped out of this trade or you would have got nervous because this market comes down here and it literally... when I'm live on Discord, guys, we have a song we call the chop song. Chop, chop, chop your wood. This is it right here, bro. Chop City. And you understand why this is chop now. I'm giving you an educational lesson. Because we're dealing with gaps below the short. It's going to be a high resistance liquidity run, which means that you got to be prepared to pull your hair out during the trade.